Bob Agnew reporting.
Russia's main domestic security agency says the founder of the messaging app Telegram has been charged with aiding terrorism and has been placed on an international wanted list. The Federal Security Service says Telegram failed to remove channels, chats, and bots actively used by Ukrainian intelligence agencies and by terrorist organizations. Townhall.com. Well, just maybe this sharpshooter should pursue another line of work.
A performer has been shot in the neck with an arrow during a circus in upstate New York. Authorities say it happened during a crossbow sharpshooting demonstration when one performer, apparently not much of a sharpshooter, hit another in the neck as he held up a foam target. Now, there's no word if the guy's neck actually looked like a foam target. Still, he was taken to a hospital and had the wound stitched up. Jason Walker reporting.
The ex-husband of a Massachusetts woman is back on the witness stand at her murder trial. Patrick Clancy testifying about the day his now former wife killed their 3 young children. He had previously testified about Lindsay Clancy's deteriorating mental health in the months before the murders, the oldest of the young victims just 5 years of age. More on these stories. Townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning, and welcome to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. We are joined here this morning by our very good friend for many years, leading scholar, political science scholar in the country, former professor at Princeton and Vanderbilt, and a direct descendant of a person named Thomas Jefferson, born in 1801 in Virginia. Carol.
In Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm a Virginian.
You are. Welcome, Carol. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Well, it's time, Carol, now for the Morning Rundown, which is brought to you every weekday by our very good friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here's the Morning Rundown for Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. Number one, the big story. Anthony Fauci has been testifying before a Senate committee chaired by Senator Rand Paul on COVID origins. He's taken the Fifth Amendment after a brief initial statement. He'll probably take it at least 100 times today. Are you surprised, Carol Swain?
No. He's trying to save face.
Yeah.
Because he's already lied,
Yeah.
before Congress.
He's trying to stay out of jail, too.
Well, I mean, hasn't the statute of limitations run out in such a way that he cannot be prosecuted and imprisoned?
Well, I think the pardon for whatever he's said in the past would apply. But now, I suppose you could say his defenders are saying, well, he's walking into a perjury trap, except the inquisition, we'll see this, by Senator Rand Paul and the Senator Ron Johnson. It's really just more of a plain statement of fact. Did you, in fact, Dr. Fauci, did you fund gain of function research in the Wuhan lab? I'm taking the Fifth. It's not a good look at all. We'll get to that here in a bit. Number two, in Iran, Iran attempted to attack U.S. bases in the Middle East. They've been neutralized. Back and forth continues. Number three, memorial services held yesterday for Lindsey Graham. Number four, the Tennessee GOP primary for governor, Congress, State House continues. Early voting will end this weekend. The election day next Thursday. And number five, of course, Carol, you're here in studio. At the bottom of the hour, we'll get your take on the governor's race. Marsha Blackburn, John Rose, Monty Fritz running for the GOP nomination. Number six, Tom Pappert will join us towards the bottom of this hour, end of this hour, on lawsuits over the Tennessee legislation separating retail pharmacies from pharmacy benefit managers. Number seven, Andy Ogles. We have an exclusive with Andy in our second hour, and then Judson Phillips will be here. So, Carol, there you go. That is the morning rundown for Wednesday, July 29th, 2026, brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store. Now, Carol, I've been telling everybody about the big Osite August events at the Glock Store for the last couple of weeks. Now, I told them, everybody, the Osite VIP experience a week from Friday, August 7th, was very limited and would likely sell out. Well, guess what, Carol?
It's sold out.
Very good.
But you can get me in, right? Because you're in with the Glock store.
Well, I'll tell you what to do. If you want to go for a free Osite Advantage experience, Osite August, Saturday, all day, is free. And
This coming Saturday?
a week from Saturday.
A week
Thank
from
you.
Saturday.
August 8th. The free event will have hands-on range time, great Osite giveaways, exclusive in-store discounts, free Osite swag. I love swag. Don't you love swag? Free stuff that's got cool logos on it. Food trucks. The Osite Fun starts at 9 a.m., goes until 6 p.m. Make sure you save the date. That's Osite Saturday, August 8th, only at the Glock store, minutes from the airport, and worth the drive from anywhere.
I've never been to the Glock store, so
You
I
will
might
be my
check
guest.
it out. I will be your guest.
I will. We will make a point. We will contact the CEO and founder, Lenny McGill, and I will arrange for you a special Shoot 270 training session.
Well, that's great because I purchased a gun more than a year ago. I went to the Bass Pro Shop to get a fishing rod, and I came out with a gun that I have never fired.
Well, the Glock store, I'd never fired a gun either in my life.
No, this particular gun.
Oh, that gun.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Well, you'll have an opportunity to. We'll set up a training session. You'll love it over there at Shoot 270. Okay, so Carol. So Anthony Fauci is testifying before a Senate committee chaired by Rand Paul, and the opening statement was devastating from Rand Paul, and then the Democrat, this Gary Peters guy, went in and said, "Oh, this is just a witch hunt." And then they swore Anthony Fauci in. And he said, I've been wonderful for 34 years, and I testified 200 times before Congress, but y'all want to trap me here. So Fifth Amendment time. So, Carol, we have a whole string of clips just hot off the presses.
All right.
And let's go with the first clip.
Possible definition. You can't have it both ways. Your conduct concerning federal records raises further questions. It is a crime to destroy federal records. Yet our investigation reveals your assistant diligently reported that she deleted tons of emails. In 2024, you testified that you did not delete federal records. Who's telling the truth? You or your assistant? The committee has obtained repeated instructions from you telling federal officials to delete communications. On February 2nd, 2020, one day after Origin's call, you told Francis Collins, please delete this email after you read it. The committee asked for your voluntary cooperation to come today. Your appearance had to be compelled by subpoena.
That was the opening statement. That was just part of it was just a litany of all of the fact-based complaints about Fauci.
Well, he and Francis Collins are partners in crime.
Mm-hmm.
And so they both should go down together. But I'm afraid that I don't think anything will happen to Fauci. And in his mind, he's always been, obsessed with himself.
You think?
He's Mr. Science, right? He's Mr. Science.
I am science.
Yes.
I get.
He thinks not only does he thinks he's science, he thinks he's sexy.
He'd been enamored. So before this hearing, his diary was released. Why was his diary able to be released? He wrote it.
He wanted it to be released
on government property. Hello.
Well, here's a big problem with with all of these agencies, is that they are able to use government funding for patents, and they have financial interests, Francis Collins, all of them, entangled in their role. And so when COVID came along, people were able to benefit from keeping the pandemic going.
Francis X. Collins was Anthony Fauci's boss for, 10, 15 years, right? NIH. He was head of NIH.
Yeah, I met him at, quote, Christian conferences.
Oh.
Yes, and so that was part of how he advanced himself and was able to get away with a lot, including those animal-human embryo fusions that he approved.
That is Frankensteinish.
Yes, it's not something that a Christian would have approved.
Yeah, he wrote a book, talking about his Christian faith, and he promoted it. You seem skeptical, Carol Swain.
You know something? I met him years ago. He was speaking in Nashville, and immediately my alarms went up.
Your
the
phony
red
Christian
flash.
alarm?
Well, it was something not right about what he was saying and how he was saying it. It was around the time that we were debating intelligent design versus creation.
Okay. When we come back, Carol, wait, there's more. We
More
have
about Fauci.
Oh my goodness.
Fauci.
Here we go.
Fauci.
Fifth Amendment. They're synonymous. Carol Swain, back with Carol after this.
Ponder this. I was a crew member of a sailboat racing team. I should tell you that I never really developed sea legs, so my contributions to the team left a little to be desired. As I recall, on one racing day, the captain put me at the helm. He must have been desperate. During the race, a strong gust of wind came up suddenly. The boat heeled dramatically. I panicked and let go of the helm for fear of being tossed overboard and lost at sea forever. Thank the Lord for the keel, a heavy fin at the bottom of the boat that rights the boat during heavy winds. It remains unseen under the water, but it is a powerful stabilizer during the rough weather. You know, the Lord is like a keel in life. If we turn to Him, especially during turbulent times, He will always guide us to safety. He provides us with stability during rough times in our life if we reach out to Him and ask for help. Run to the Lord in prayer and trust that He will lead you to calmer waters. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-690-6464. That's 800-690-6464. Again, that's 800-690-6464.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer. 250 years ago, following an extraordinary victory that shook the globe, these newly forged Americans walked off the battlefield to create something unique in the world, a government that values individual liberty and justice, a system of laws built on limiting power and holding the mighty to account. They were young, they were bold, and together they wrote a document that changed everything. That document still stands, and 250 years later, the question remains, can we keep it? This October in Brentwood, Tennessee, students in grades 8 through 12 have a chance to answer that question and compete for a $10,000 Grand Champion Education Scholarship. More than $17,000 in education scholarships will be awarded in all. The 2026 National Constitution Bee, Saturday, October 24th, Spring Hill Suites, Marriott, Brentwood, Tennessee. Register now at nationalconstitutionbee.org. That's nationalconstitutionbee.org.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Our guest, our very good friend, Carol Swain, a leading political science scholar in the country and a leading voice for conservatism.
What do you mean in the country? In the world.
That's what I meant to say, Carol. Carol, you know, we're listening to the ongoing testimony of Dr. Anthony Fauci about the origins of COVID and his role in basically funding gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab and various cover-ups, et cetera. It's before a Senate committee, and if we were really, really kind of into prediction markets, last night the big question would have been, what's the over-under and how many times Anthony Fauci will take the Fifth Amendment? I would have said probably over 100. I think that will end up being the right answer. His testimony began at 8:30 Eastern Time. Well, they didn't really get to ask him. He didn't get to make his opening statement until about 8:50 Eastern Time. And by 9:29 Eastern Time, that is almost an hour ago, he had taken, according to apparently a contemporaneous update from Senator Rand Paul, almost an hour ago, he had already taken the Fifth Amendment 17 times. I think it's going to go well over 100 because he can't answer any questions, right? Because if he answers them dishonestly, he'll face contempt of Congress charges.
Well, I mean, he's lawyered up, and so whatever they told him to do, and obviously they told him, don't say anything, take the Fifth. That's what he's doing.
There's one little twist on it. And when Judson Phillips comes in here, the former prosecuting attorney in Shelby County and Williamson County in Tennessee, we'll ask him about this. But apparently, at some point during the hearing, his attorney, who was sitting next to him, was supposed to sit back behind, and he just sat next to him. Apparently, he was like constantly interrupting. And Senator Paul said, no, that's not your role here. You can't be interrupting if your client's taking the Fifth. And he just kept interrupting. And guess what Senator Paul did?
Remove him?
Boom.
Well, I mean, he should.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what does that tell you about Fauci's position, that he is so insecure or so afraid that the attorney has to sit right next to him to hold his hands?
Well, usually, you know, in these sorts of things, the attorneys do sit next to him. I've seen sometimes, but the rules are set by the Senate committee. Now, let's go to the tape right now. This was the first of what will probably end up being 100 times today. Anthony Fauci took the Fifth Amendment. Here we go.
Over 200 times over those 38 years. During and after the COVID pandemic, I have appeared multiple times for hearings in the Senate and the House, usually under oath, and sat for several days-long transcribed sworn interviews, answering questions about the very issues that are now the subject of this hearing. However, given Senator Paul's obvious obsession with calling for my prosecution, his repeated slanderous comments about me, and recently his publicly releasing my unredacted personal diary aimed at embarrassing and intimidating me, the only conclusion I can reach is that the sole reason he is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars, unquote. Any reasonable person who has followed his unhinged obsession with me would readily come to the same conclusion. Therefore, although it pains me to do so, because...
Okay, and then he went on to invoke the Fifth Amendment. Your thoughts?
I don't think President Trump has been obsessed with Anthony Fauci. Rand Paul has been after him from day one.
Yeah. Here's the Fifth Amendment, ratified 1791. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land of naval forces, etc., when in actual service. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself.
Well, I mean, it's obvious that he knows that he would incriminate himself by telling the truth.
I think so. We've got another clip here, another invocation of the Fifth Amendment by Dr. Anthony Fauci. Clip 3.
Have for the legislative branch of government and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress, under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right.
You know, you got it. He basically went on to say, well, let's get the end of that. That was the beginning of it. All right, we'll go on to another one here. But basically, he's taking the Fifth Amendment, right? Yeah.
I bet those other Congresses that he testified before were friendly Congresses.
Well, yeah, if the Democrats held the majority. Do you have the other clip of Rand Paul here with a question? Okay, let's go with this one.
The committee, why you chose to fund this dangerous research in China.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
In the red folder on your table is a copy of Section 192 of Title II of the U.S. Code. Your counsel has been provided a copy as well. That section makes it a crime for a witness appearing under subpoena to refuse to answer any questions pertinent to the question under inquiry. Do you have that in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Let the record record that the witness has refused to answer whether there's a folder in front of him.
Okay, so clearly, I like the style that Rand Paul is using here. He's not haranguing him. He's very measured. He's just laying out the facts.
Well, facts can be pesky little things when you're guilty.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because and I've noticed as the inquiry went on, Fauci's delivery of his Fifth Amendment assertion got shakier and shakier. I think he knows that people are onto his basically misrepresenting pretty much everything involved in COVID.
Well, what do you think the next step will be? Because we know that he is unlikely to be prosecuted.
Well, I'm not so sure. If you notice that I think Rand Paul was laying the predicate there, saying, look, if you've been called here under a subpoena, you're required by law to respond. And so I think there'll be some back and forth on it. Right now, though, there's going to be all sorts of, the press coverage is going to be fascinating. When we come back, Carol, your thoughts on the Tennessee gubernatorial primary.
All right.
Early voting ends this weekend. Election Day, 1 week from tomorrow. Back with our very good friend, Carol Swain, after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
What if you had a plan to build income outside your job? At Lifestyles Unlimited, you'll learn how people are investing in real estate to grow their income and make smarter financial choices one property at a time. Right now, join us for just $297. That's a savings of $443 off our real estate education program. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of three who's sick of the far left ruling our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girl sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Only one. There is only one conservative running for State House District 65, and that's Lee Reeves. Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought to protect the unborn and defend the sanctity of life. That's why Lee Reeves has the endorsement of Tennessee Right to Life. Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought to secure your Second Amendment rights, earning the endorsement and an A+ rating from the NRA. And Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought against illegal immigration, standing firm to secure our border and protect Tennessee families. Only one conservative has delivered for District 65, securing funding for Williamson County and the Mac Hatcher expansion. That's why Mayors Rogers Anderson and Ken Moore and State Senator Jack Johnson endorse Lee Reeves. There's only one conservative for State House, and that conservative is Lee Reeves. Paid for by Lee Reeves for State House, Bev Berger, Treasurer.
Hi, this is Williamson County State Senator Jack Johnson. I'd like to invite you to join me for my annual Boots and Jeans Barbecue and Beans. It's this Sunday, August 2nd at 4 o'clock, Liberty Hall at the Factory in Franklin. It's going to be a great night of barbecue, fellowship, and celebrating the conservative values that make Tennessee the best place to call home. I'm honored to be joined by an incredible lineup of conservative leaders, including Governor Bill Lee, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally, and Senator Brent Taylor. Whether you've attended before or this will be your first time, we'd love to have you join us. Bring your family, invite your friends, and come spend an afternoon with fellow conservatives from across Tennessee. Tickets are $50. Get yours today at johnsonfortennessee.com. That's johnsonfortennessee.com. I look forward to seeing you this Sunday at my annual Boots and Jeans Barbecue and Beans.
Paid for by Johnson for State Senate Tommy Nelms, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Our guest in studio, the great Carol Swain. Carol, thanks so much for coming in. It's always fun having you here.
Thank you.
There is a heated gubernatorial primary in the Republican primary here for governor of the state of Tennessee. Early voting ends this weekend. Election day is 1 week from tomorrow. There are three contestants. Senator Marsha Blackburn, who's considered the favorite, Congressman John Rose. Most people kind of have him in second place. And then former state or current state rep Monty Fritz, who's retiring. It's gotten very contentious. You've known Marsha Blackburn for some time. I've known Marsha Blackburn for some time. I've known John Rose for a little time. I've only recently come to know Monty Fritz. Tell us about your first meeting with Marsha, where you were politically at that time, and what has happened since.
I've known of Marsha, but I've known of Marsha for a long time. But when I first met her, it was in 2008, and I was randomly assigned on an airplane to sit beside her. Mm-hmm. And I actually, we started a conversation, and there were 3 times that I was randomly assigned to sit beside Marsha Blackburn. And she invited me to my first Republican event. John Rich was performing, and that sort of demystified Republicans because I had been a Democrat. I left the Democratic Party in the early 2000s and switched to becoming an independent. And so for a few years I was an independent. And when I met Marsha, I was an independent, but I had all those stereotypes in my mind about Republicans. And getting out among people who were Republicans quickly dispelled that. And I joined the Republican Party because I saw them as the party that shared my values as a new Christian, my values when it came to God, family, and country.
And so I would be fair to say that you're friendly with Marsha.
And I voted for Marsha, and I hope she wins. And I have been supporting her since she first started. I've not always agreed with her, but I have a relationship that whenever I do question a vote that she's made, I can pick up the phone, I can call her, she takes my phone calls, and she gives me an explanation that satisfies me. And I believe that there will never be a candidate that you agree with 100% of the time. You want people to use their best judgment. They have information that we don't have. And so with Marsha, I trust her. I know she's a hard worker. I know she loves Tennessee. And I'm excited about the fact that she is coming home to Tennessee, the state she loves. And I see her as the best qualified in the race.
Well, let's talk about the qualifications and the standard. I look at it, and I know John Rose a bit. I think one of the main things that we've talked about, Marsha, she is the person who led the fight against the state income tax, which was epic and significant in the growth of the state of Tennessee. I think she's voted very, very well, very conservatively. Now, John Rose, we did a story that he gave money to Democrats who were in favor of state income tax. He got elected, I think, 2018 to Congress, and his voting record is strong, conservative. But he's been, I would say, he spent millions of dollars of his own money to largely just attack Marsha. And he's also enlisted the aid of the left-wing media, very specifically Phil Williams and News Channel 5.
Well, I've had a few people tell me that he's been so positive, and I'm wondering, do they have mail? Because my mailbox is filled all the time with things like this. The case file, the 30-year career politician Marshall Blackburn, and it says that Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, Liz Cheney, Paul Ryan, Linda Murkowski, and Alan Kinzinger have been more loyal to Trump than Marsha Blackburn. It's full of lies, and it's paid for by the Rose campaign.
Yeah, that's a concern, and I think these are many of these statements, right, that are coming from the Rose campaign. Or there was another group, a separate group, that put out false statements that implied she'd been bribed. They sent her attorney sent a lawyer a warning letter, and several stations have taken it off the air.
Wasn't that a Virginia group that funded it?
Yeah, it was a group out of Virginia. But the point is, there's a level of I think unwarranted vitriol against Marsha coming from the John Rose campaign, but also from Monty Fritz.
I don't understand it. It seems to be a visceral kind of hatred, and I believe some of it is jealousy, and there may be people that are not prepared for a woman to lead the state of Tennessee. I supported Diane Black. I think she would have been a great governor, and we need to get over our biases if it is coming from the opposition that we don't think it's time for a woman. And it's so ridiculous. People are saying, well, she needs to come home and, take care of her husband. Well, she is coming home. Tennessee is her home, and her husband is well taken care of, and it's none of your business. Her personal decisions, you don't know what takes place in her home. And so I never anticipated getting involved at this level. I got involved because I saw her being attacked because of her age. And, I'm no spring chicken. I don't want to be attacked because of my age.
You're not a day over 39, Carol.
Thank you. I identify as 35.
You identify as 35, right?
Yes, and so it's so unfair. And, people don't want to get me angry.
They don't want to do that.
No.
So the other challenger is Monty Fritz, and it's different how he's run his campaign. He was a state rep for, I think, a couple terms. Didn't really get much accomplished, and voted kind of against the leadership like 120 times, big time.
Very effective, right?
Well, yeah, but the point is that what he's done, doesn't have a lot of money, but he goes out and he talks to people. He's very industrious in that regard. I think you were at the Statesman's dinner.
I was there, and he gave a sermon that at the time I met him for the first time there.
Yeah. Oh, was it the first time you met him?
Yes, and I thought the sermon was, it was pretty good for a sermon.
Right.
But there was nothing about how he would govern the state. And then I have done a little bit of research, and some of the positions that people like him for are positions that would be unconstitutional. There's no way that they would be constitutional in the state in some cases, and certainly under the U.S. Constitution. And I see that a lot of people, I know people that are supporting him because he's using the most Christian language. I don't always, mostly, as someone is just pushing Christianity, I feel like, to tell you the truth, Michael, I feel like God is not there to be pimped. And that politics and government, God does not have the same standards as humans. And he chooses leaders, but he doesn't always choose the ones that you would think. And so if you think that he's going to choose the person that does the most God talk, it doesn't usually work that way.
Yeah, he was here sitting in the same seat where you are, and he basically said that he's going to violate the Constitution.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So we're going to be in court forever paying for his violations?
So here's what he said. He opposes school choice. He claims that it's unconstitutional, except the Tennessee State Supreme Court, which is the ultimate authority on what's constitutional in the state, in 2022 said it was, in fact, constitutional. He then went on to say that if he were to become governor, he would instruct the Department of Education not to implement it. Well, that would immediately set up a huge court challenge, and he'd end up losing it.
I know. So. But for me, I support parental choice. Every parent should be able to decide whether that child should go to a private school, public school, be homeschooled. You should not take away choice. And it doesn't, I don't see why anyone would want to be against school choice.
Well, it's an interesting race, and we'll know Thursday evening how it's going to turn out. I will say this. What they're trying to do is they're trying to do kind of a repeat of the 2018 campaign where Governor Bill Lee was like going through the middle, and Randy Boyd and Diane Black were attacking each other back and forth. I don't think it's exactly going to apply like that.
It's not going to happen that way, and I think most likely, to me, the worst outcome would be the election of John Rose, because I think he has Democrat support, and so Democrats will cross over and vote in the election, and they will knock out the real conservative who has a viable chance of winning and leading the state.
We'll see how it all turns out. Carol Swain, it is a delight to have you here.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. When we come back, Tom Pappert, that lawsuit on PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers. As we predicted, it's going to be hot and heavy, and it's probably a violation of what they call the Dormant Commerce Clause. Back after this.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Solti. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Solti for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Solti. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
Trouble getting to sleep and staying asleep is infuriating. Your mind races, you toss and turn. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created REM sleep to help you quickly fall asleep, stay asleep, and sleep deep. Unlike other supplements that don't work, REM sleep is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra-absorption of science-backed ingredients supporting all 4 stages of sleep. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code GODZILLA.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
I'm Scott Desjardins, and I approve this message.
We will make America great again.
President Donald Trump has given his complete and total endorsement to Congressman Scott Desjardins, saying he fights for our military, veterans, law enforcement, and the Second Amendment.
I'm honored to be endorsed by President Trump. I know together we've got to control inflation, secure our borders, and strengthen our military.
Scott Desjardins, representing the people of the 4th Congressional District.
With your support, we will make America great again. Paid for by friends of Scott Desjardins.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We're joined on our Zoom newsmaker line right now by our lead political reporter, Tom Pappert. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael.
Well, we're going to talk about a pharmacy benefit management lawsuit, but before we get to that, the heat on Capitol Hill is focused directly on Dr. Anthony Fauci. He's taken the fifth, and as of 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time, 9:50 a.m. Central Time, Dr. Fauci has taken the Fifth Amendment a total of 79 times. Do you think he'll get over 100?
Oh, at this rate, I think it's unavoidable. I know you haven't been able to watch, Michael. You've been hosting the show, but there is one interaction with Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri where Hawley became so frustrated, he said, Dr. Fauci, what color is your tie? Fauci pled the fifth. He said, Dr. Fauci, what color is the carpet in front of you? He pled the fifth. Dr. Fauci, what day of the week is it? He pled the fifth. So I think at this point, we may well surpass 100. We may get to 200. I don't think he's going to do anything but take the fifth.
Well, he can't, because the minute he says something, answers any question, then he's basically sacrificed or given up his Fifth Amendment rights.
But right? Michael, wasn't he pardoned? None of the legal experts, maybe you can do this as a Knight Law School expert. I thought if you were pardoned, you can't plead the fifth like this.
Well, no, anybody can plead the fifth. Now, there may be, Senator Rand Paul had said there's a statute that says if we subpoena you, you have to answer the questions, and if you don't, that's a violation of law. That's probably where this is going to end up. By the way, Josh Hawley, senator from Missouri, is a former attorney general for the state of Missouri. He knows the law. He knows. I mean, the inquiry has been totally scheduled, planned, and crafted by the Republicans to make Fauci the obviously ridiculous figure that he is. But when you plead the fifth, when asked what color your tie is, you look like a fool. By the way, did you see what the Babylon Bee did with this? Because remember, they got a picture of Dr. Fauci and the headline, "Science pleads the fifth."
Because he is the science. Yeah. Never forget.
Remember, I am science. Who knew science would plead the fifth? Okay, let's get to this. Well, when Judson Phillips comes in, we'll talk more about the behavior of Fauci's attorney. We've got a few minutes here, Tom. Let's talk about, as we predicted, a Tennessee statute that was passed overwhelmingly that would prohibit pharmacy benefit managers like CVS and others from owning retail pharmacies, is being challenged in court. What is the latest development in that lawsuit, Tom Pappert?
Michael, we've previously told our listeners about the lawsuit brought by CVS. They've been saying for some time now that they would sue if this thing passed, arguing that it's a violation of the takings clause of the Constitution, arguing that it's a violation of various aspects of the Constitution, and that it interferes with Medicaid, that it interferes with TRICARE, etc. Well, yesterday, the judge assigned to that case, a Trump-appointed judge by the name of Eli Richardson, notified the world that there is more than just this CVS lawsuit. There are 4 total lawsuits by basically all of the major pharmacies around: Express Scripts, United Health, and of course the Pharmaceutical Care Management Association. Now you think that's 4 lawsuits, that must be getting pretty complex, but when you look under the hood, these lawsuits contain a total combined of 57 plaintiffs. So Tennessee is now up against 57 plaintiffs in a combined lawsuit. Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti has his work cut out for him.
Well, he will, of course, defend the state in this case, but it's going to be a tough case. It's going to be a tough case because, and we've talked about the non-existent dormant commerce clause, which is really a legal doctrine, not a clause in the Constitution. But as you read that doctrine, treating out-of-state companies different than in-state companies is clearly, according to the Supreme Court, a violation of the Constitution. That's what this law does. What's the time frame on the resolution of this?
Well, now that these cases have been consolidated, we have a unified case management schedule that was brought forth by the judge and agreed upon by all of the litigants. And essentially, we're not even going to get discovery started until October. They won't be ready to start arguing motions back and forth until mid to late December. I don't think we're looking at a trial until sometime next year, and that's if everything goes perfectly according to the schedule that the judge signed off on yesterday.
Well, we told them. We told them this would be litigation that would go on for, this is going to be several years of litigation. Whatever happens in the trial court, it'll be appealed. Probably it'll go up to the Supreme Court. We're looking at 3 or 4 years of litigation. Meanwhile, the law has stayed and not in effect. Do I have that right, Tom?
Well, the judge hasn't stated yet, but that's exactly what happened in neighboring Arkansas.
It's probably what's going to happen here. Okay, Tom, thanks so much for that report. Really appreciate it. When we come back, more on Anthony Fauci, the Fifth Amendment, kicking the lawyer out, and what did Anthony Fauci say in 2021? Back with Judson Phillips after this.
Ponder this. How many times have you heard that freedom means doing whatever you want as long as we don't hurt anyone else? On its face, this sounds pretty reasonable. But when you think about it, Everything you do has an impact on someone or something. Let's say we overindulge in drinking. The immediate impact may be that we cannot get to work on time the next morning or even at all. Let's say we eat whatever we want, whenever we want. When health problems ensue later in life, your family, your friends, and your community may be impacted. For every action, there is a reaction, and this is Newton's law of physics. But it applies to our spiritual life as well. Being truly free means doing God's will in every decision that we make. This means we must know God's will by following His commandments and talking with Him in our daily life. Pray, trust, and persevere in following God's will for you every day. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Trouble concentrating or recalling information is frustrating, embarrassing, and kills productivity. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created Focus and Recall to boost your brain power. Unlike other supplements that don't work, Focus and Recall is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra absorption of science-backed ingredients to help you immediately sharpen focus, concentrate longer, and strengthen recall. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code Godzilla.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio.
This is WJFN, Goochland, Barnair, Chester, and WJFV, Portsmouth.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Casting himself as a victim of a vindictive U.S. Senator, Dr. Anthony Fauci is refusing to answer questions at a hearing on the COVID pandemic response. GOP Senator Rand Paul asking Fauci if he regrets backing Chinese gain-of-function research may have played a role in the pandemic.
What was the reasoning, and are you sorry, basically, for making the decision? Would you, like given another chance, say, well, gosh, circumstances now, as I know it, maybe it wasn't a wise thing. Can you explain to the committee why you chose to fund this dangerous research in China?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer, based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Senator Paul subpoenaed Fauci to appear, saying that what Fauci wrote privately in his diary and what he told the country during the pandemic are two different stories. He's in. Jay Clayton confirmed by the Senate as the new National Intelligence Director.
On this vote, the yeas are 51, the nays are 47, and the nomination is confirmed.
A party line vote in the Senate. A huge search and rescue mission underway on Japan's southern island of Kyushu, devastated by an earthquake.
We've been hearing from Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi and her office, and they're saying the rescue effort is continuing. And she has also pointed out a new danger that she's concerned about is the heat stroke. Around this time of the year, Japan becomes very, very hot. It's about 35 degrees Celsius over there. And there are 37,000 homes still without electricity, without air conditioning. And there are thousands of rescue workers who are working throughout the day without any climate control.
The BBC's Jay Kwan says the earthquake death toll has risen to at least 18. There is a sell-off underway this morning on Wall Street. The Dow is down 859 points, loss of almost 2%. The NASDAQ off 245. Townhall.com.
Are you tired of feeling lousy? Maybe you had a scare at your last checkup or just walking hurts? When enough is enough, call PhD Weight Loss. When I had enough 4 years and 53 pounds ago, I knew I couldn't do it alone. I'm Mike Gallagher for PhD Weight Loss. Best phone call I ever made. They were right with me. They still are today. Right now, mention Mike. You'll get 2 free weeks added to the program, and they'll pay for the cost of your food. $1,500 value. Call 864-644-1900, 864-644-1900, or visit myphdweightloss.com.
So Karen and Michael Collins were in their 20s. They were newly married, and Michael found out he had cancer, stage 4. They're members of MediShare, and MediShare came through for them, not just financially.
But they called and they said, hey, we know you're going through treatment. We just wanted to call and pray for you. And it rocked my world.
MediShare was a blessing to us because they just made it so easy.
Call now, and you'll see why so many Christians have made the switch to MediShare. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
Jordan's military says the country's air defense has intercepted 5 missiles launched from Iran early today. The interceptions come hours after the U.S. military said it had knocked down an Iranian missile barrage launched against American forces in the Mideast, shattering a brief pause in the fighting. The U.S. military also said it worked with Saudi Arabia's forces to strike sites in Iraq that Tehran-backed militias have used to launch attacks in recent days. All Iranian missiles launched against U.S. forces in the Middle East were intercepted. French authorities ordering nearly 4,000 more people to evacuate from Atlantic coast tourist sites because of wildfires. The orders widening what may be France's largest peacetime evacuation. Meanwhile, the return of hot weather threatens firefighters' fragile hold on a vast wildfire that's burning west of Bordeaux. Firefighting crews did manage to hold that blaze in check overnight. News and analysis, townhall.com. You can add Italy to a growing list of countries taking a second look at atomic power.
Nearly 40 years after Italy abandoned nuclear power following the Chernobyl disaster, Premier Giorgia Meloni's government is laying the groundwork for a return to atomic energy. Officials argue rising electricity demand and energy security concerns require a broader mix of low-carbon power sources, including next-generation reactors. Public opinion appears to be shifting, especially among younger Italians who view nuclear energy as a tool for meeting climate and energy goals rather than through the lens of past accidents. Keith Peters reporting.
Meeting in Washington this week, the Federal Reserve is expected to leave its benchmark interest rate unchanged. Members of the central bank's rate-setting committee may not be so reluctant to act when they gather again in September. They'll be meeting on the 15th and the 16th of September. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, former prosecuting attorney in Shelby County and Williamson County here in Tennessee, Judson Phillips. What timing to have you on here?
If it weren't for good timing, I'd have no timing at all.
Well, Anthony Fauci stepped up to the microphone in hearings in Washington, D.C. before a Senate committee at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central Time. It is now 11:05 a.m. Eastern and 10:05 a.m. Central Time. The running count for the number of times he's taken the Fifth Amendment is 90. He will get, well, I should have probably gone on Kalshi and said it will be over 100. Last night.
Probably so. He's pleading for the fifth, but by the time it's all done, he will probably be pleading for a fifth. Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, I don't know what, but something. Because, especially a man of his immense ego is, today's going to be a brutal day for him.
It's very brutal. And, appropriately so.
Well, if anybody deserves it, it's him.
So his attorney, it's interesting how this all played out. So Rand Paul is playing this perfectly. He's being very steady, very calm, laid out the case against him, in essence said, you lied many times in facts and figures. Then the Democrat ranking member, Gary Peters, came in and said, oh, this is just a witch hunt, right? Typical trying to, run cover for Fauci. Fauci comes in, gives a 5-minute statement, and then says, I've appeared before Congress 200 times, and I've always told the truth, but now, because you're out to get me, Rand Paul, regrettably, I'm taking the fifth. Okay. His attorney was sitting next to him and was disrupting the proceedings. Let's see what happened next. Here's a clip. Rand Paul and the attorney for Anthony Fauci.
But the attorneys are not recognized. In fact, the attorney was told not to sit at the table, and he's not obeying that recommendation. There's a row behind you, sir. That's where you were told to sit, and you're not. And now you're disrupting the proceedings. And so, look, this is the way Anthony Fauci wants to be remembered, for a lawyer not listening to the rules. That's the way you want to be remembered, and that's what you're going to do. You are not recognized, sir. Security, please remove him from the room.
So the attorney was not recognized in a Senate hearing, and he started trying to, talk back to the chairman of the committee. I think Rand Paul did the right thing.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, there really do need to be consequences for the lawyer. Now, I don't know who the lawyer is. Don't know where he's
a Washington, D.C. big law guy getting paid $2,000 an hour.
All right. If that's the case, you know, he will not have, you know, there will not be any like formal discipline against him because as long as you're a Democrat, you can do anything in Washington, D.C. But, you know, the Senate has inherent contempt powers. They could do something about it. They could put him in jail for a while.
The attorney.
Yeah. And they should. Now, here's an interesting curveball. Due to other commitments today, I've not had a chance to follow the hearing that much. Fauci gets up there and makes a statement. Now, I haven't heard the statement yet, but here's the interesting thing about the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
The Fifth Amendment is waivable, meaning you can give it up. And, for example, in a criminal case, a defendant's not allowed to be called by his attorney, take the stand, testify, and then when the prosecutor gets up there, suddenly announce, oh, I'm taking the Fifth. You can't do that. By conduct, you can waive your Fifth Amendment rights. Now, if Rand Paul really wants to play hardball with him, and personally I think he should.
He should.
He could bring him back, maybe even seek a court declaration, a declaratory judgment, that by making this statement, he has waived his Fifth Amendment privileges, his Fifth Amendment rights, and he cannot invoke that anymore. Now, what would be the end result of that? Well, as the Democrats taught Republicans, process is the punishment. And the end result would be Fauci would have to go to court in D.C. Now, he'd win at the D.C. trial level because there's nothing but Democrat judges in D.C., even the ones that were appointed by Republicans. He would have to go to the D.C. Court of Appeals. He might even have to go to the Supreme Court. That's going to cost a lot of money. And, you know, if you see the letter, Fauci's diary, you know, two things he's in love with, himself and his money. Well, he's going to end up running out of some of that money if he has to keep paying these high-powered lawyers.
This is from our buddies at Grok. The closest parallel is IRS official Lois Lerner's appearance. Remember her before the House Oversight Committee?
How could we forget?
She gave an opening statement asserting she had done nothing wrong and broken the laws, then invoked the Fifth. Some Republicans argued this waives her rights and sought to recall her or hold her in contempt. Legal experts and the U.S. Attorney, the Obama U.S. Attorney,
of course,
rejected that view. So Jeanine Pirro is going to read that differently, I think.
Oh, absolutely. She will read it differently, and I think some of the people that President Trump has brought into DOJ probably take a different opinion of it. And, you know, given what Anthony Fauci did to all of us, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I think you're right. And really, if you think about it, the wise thing to have done would be to just not make an opening statement and just take the Fifth immediately.
Yeah.
Right. But now he says, I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty. Lois Lerner, you know, was awful because she went after Tea Party groups.
Yeah.
We know this. Probably went after your group.
No, actually not.
She went after Tea Party patriots.
When just a real quick aside, when we got started, all these other groups formed.
Oh, you did a for-profit.
I did a for-profit because I thought Obama was going to get
right.
rid of not-for-profits, and then they didn't go after me because I wasn't under their jurisdiction.
Let's go with something Fauci said in 2021, which is telling. You brought us this clip. This is Anthony Fauci in 2021.
Oh my God! They're going to keep the outbreak smoldering in the country. It's so crazy. I mean, they're not doing it because they say they don't want to do it. They're Republicans. They don't like to be told what to do. Right. And we got to break that, unpack that.
They're Republicans. They don't like to be told what to do. Translation, they're Americans and don't like to be told what to do.
Exactly. Not liking to be told what to do is a American tradition that predates our country. But with Fauci, the arrogance of this guy is so amazing.
Hey, we have Senator Josh Hawley going after him on Fifth Amendment issues. Let's go right now. with that.
Constitution. Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyers sitting behind you now shifting nervously in their chairs, they know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people. But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich while people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply
let's
for.
go.
And
I mean, he's just obliterating him. Here's Brown v. Walker, 1896. The Supreme Court held a person who has already received a full pardon cannot invoke the Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination with respect to the offenses covered by that pardon. Boom.
Yes. Now, here, I'll give you a
We
little.
got 10 seconds.
2 words, perjury trap, and that's what Rand Paul was setting up here.
Yep.
And, I mean, if I was advising Fauci, I would have told him to plead the Fifth, too, because it's a perjury trap, and you know you're walking into it.
Exactly. And yet, he kind of walked into it.
He walked into it.
Back with more after this. Andy Ogles, Congressman Andy Ogles.
Our good friend.
On the line after this.
Ponder this. I've recently noticed that the way a person drives may have a direct correlation to their personality. I'm pretty confident that most of you have witnessed this as well. We see courteous drivers. These are people who allow others to change lanes when safety permits. Courteous drivers usually use their turn signals to gesture to others their intentions. They stop at red lights and pay attention when waiting for a red light to go green. There are other drivers who are not so courteous, even aggressive, and get defensive when others try to change lanes. These drivers tend to get angry at others to the point of road rage. What does your driving signal to others? Do you show love and kindness to fellow drivers as the Lord would want you to do? Or do you lose control and take your anger out on others? We are called to be charitable to others even when they don't extend charity to us. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The ingredients studied in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at takelean.com.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
People are out there saying, oh, the Iranians are never going to live by it. But let me tell you something. President Trump is going to bomb them again if they screw around.
Hopefully they live up to it. And if not, the pounding's coming. We're going to do it again and again and again.
The Cats and Cosby Show, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Trump is the toughest president we ever had.
Well, he's definitely the best bomber.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Scott Desjardins, and I approve this message.
We will make America great again.
President Donald Trump has given his complete and total endorsement to Congressman Scott Desjardins, saying he fights for our military, veterans, law enforcement, and the Second Amendment.
I'm honored to be endorsed by President Trump. I know together we've got to control inflation, secure our borders, and strengthen our military.
Scott Desjardins, representing the people of the 4th Congressional District.
With your support, we will make America great again. Paid for by friends of Scott Desjardins.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of 3 who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girl sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We are joined on our Zoom newsmaker line right now by Congressman Andy Ogles, who represents the 5th District in Tennessee. Welcome, Congressman Ogles. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're up for re-election. You've got a primary challenge. Election day is 1 week from tomorrow. You had something happen last night with, who's this fellow you were with last night in a town hall meeting?
Yeah, fortunately, I'm a close ally of the president, and so we did a telephone town hall last night, really just talking about the issues, the economy, Iran, and those sorts of things. But, as someone who has worked closely with the president, carries a lot of his legislation, I do have the privilege or the honor of being endorsed by him. And it's a bit surreal, when you're on the line with the president and he says I would be enshrined as one of the greatest congressmen ever. He doesn't offer praise all that often. And so when he does, it's like, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
So are you in the same room with him, or are you on separate? Are you in your office? He's in the Oval Office. How does that work?
Yeah, so he was back in D.C. And of course, I was, at a law firm here, a friend of mine. So we used his conference room, and so it was a great time. But again, the fun thing about President Trump is before we go live, he's just chatting. We're talking about politics and his frustrations and how's the race going, and just kind of normal stuff. And then of course it's game time, and he's right on point.
Okay, so you're leading in a couple areas. Let's talk about the SAVE Act. Where is that in the House? Where is that in the Senate?
Yeah, so we've really done 3 versions. So you have the SAVE Act, the Save America Act, and then with some of the legislation we sent over before we went on the August work period, a third bite at the apple for the Senate. So to answer your question, all 3 are sitting in the Senate, and John Thune isn't bringing them up for a vote, which is why I've called for him to either put it on the Senate floor, make his senators take a vote, or get out of the way and let someone else, Rick Scott, Mike Lee, Ted Cruz, Senator Blackburn, Senator Haggerty. There's plenty, I think, that would be willing and more than capable of doing the job. And look, if you put it up for a vote and it fails, then let those senators answer to their constituents back home. When Speaker Mike Johnson, who's a good friend of mine, some of the bills that hit the floor, he doesn't know if they're going to pass, but he puts them up for a vote anyway because that's the job. And so this idea that John Thune's not going to bring this up for a vote because he doesn't have the votes, well, then go get the votes. bring it to the floor, and if it fails, then go back to the drawing board. And look, we have the talking filibuster, right? And so 1964, you have the Civil Rights Act. 1965, you have the Voting Rights Act. You know, the talking filibuster has been used before to get monumental pieces of legislation. This is a monumental piece of legislation, and the American people want it.
In studio, your friend, my friend, Tea Party Nation founder, former prosecuting attorney, Judson Phillips. Judson has a question for you, Andy.
Hey, good morning,
Yeah, sure.
Congressman. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. But that was not my question. To be serious for a moment, when I talk to people, I think one of the biggest issues we're seeing out here is not only affordability, but employment.
Mm-hmm.
And we have millions of people coming in on guest worker visas, which are forcing Americans out of jobs. And I know you're right on this issue, and your moderate opponent, well, I can guess how he would probably go. But what is frustrating is it seems like some of the Republican leadership doesn't quite get how serious this is. Are they realizing this yet? And if not, what does it take for people to get them to realize how serious this is as an issue for the electorate?
You know, absolutely. And quite frankly, I would say by and large in the House, we get it. The problem is the Senate. And so if you're Mike Johnson or Steve Scalise, are you going to bring this up for a vote when you know that it's going to fail in the Senate? I would say yes. Let's put this on the House floor. So I carry most of the immigration reform legislation in the House for the White House. So I've got the Assimilation Act, I've got the Remigration Act, and then the Anchors Away, which ends the birthright citizenship in this whole birth tourism. But that being said, is like, to your point, you know, Americans first. You know, not illegals first, not migrants first, Americans first. So whether it's jobs, whether it's rights, et cetera, we've got to get back to this idea of it's our country, we get to decide who comes in, and we get to decide who has to leave. And so with remigration, it's it further codifies who can be denaturalized, and it creates a window of 10 years where we can go back, and quite frankly, it moves it from the DOJ over to Immigration and Customs. So you literally could do thousands per day per city, and we can correct this where we have American jobs being stolen by illegals.
You're out there on the campaign trail. You have a primary challenger. You have a largely new district that now extends from Middle Tennessee up north, and then to the west, and then down to Memphis. As you campaign, Andy Ogles, what do you hear on the campaign trail?
It's about affordability. I think these midterms, so historically the party in power does lose the House in the midterms, but I think because of redistricting, that gives us kind of a statistical advantage. That being said, I think this is going to be a gasoline and kind of a ground beef type of election where affordability is going to be a disproportionate factor in like who prevails in the midterms. And so, you know, in my conversations with the president, you know, my opinion is the conflict in Iran, we need to bring it to a close. If we're going to hit them, let's hit them hard and let's finish it so that we can focus on our economy, the American economy. And look, markets, whether it's oil or corn or anything in between, like stability. So even if the Iran conflict isn't directly impacting oil supplies and gas, et cetera, the markets tend to get jittery, and that's why you see these fluctuations in fuel prices. But fuel is that underlying cost to everything from fertilizer to milk to anything that we're buying. And so costs are going up, and American people want relief at the grocery store.
Andy, what's your schedule from now until Election Day, which is a week from today? Just give us a synopsis.
It's absolutely insane, but that's part of it. You know, I signed up for this job, and I'm the grassroots candidate anyway. And I think ultimately that's why I prevailed historically, is because I was a mayor first. You know, I'm used to having my sleeves rolled up, getting out into the community, and talking to my constituents and seeing what are your needs and what can we deliver for the community. And so I think that type of approach suits me in my personality in Congress, but also this this new district, which is absolutely amazing. Now, I've been spoiled that my current district is very compact. It's just an hour to 15 minutes across. But now, keep in mind, I serve south of Nashville, and I go up to Fort Campbell, which is totally amazing. I love our military. But then I go across the Kentucky border to Reelfoot Lake. Then I go down the Mississippi River, and I have West Memphis. So I represent the suburbs of South Nashville, and I represent West Memphis. I mean, you can't make this up. But that being said, it's an amazing district. I've been traveling it nonstop, and I look forward to representing it for the next 2 years.
When you go to West Memphis, do you have different questions than when you're up in Obion County, Lake County, or up by Fort Campbell?
I think it's jobs, it's affordability, it's the economy. And obviously, in certain parts of West Memphis, you have a very specific issue of safety. But thanks to President Trump and the National Guard being there, I've had multiple, in my trips to Memphis, had multiple individuals who have never voted Republican ever before say they love President Trump because their kids can go outside and play now. And so that's transformative for a community safety. Now you can operate your business. Your business isn't being robbed, or you feel confident that you could even try to start a business. And so as we look to the future, safety and security, not only for Memphis, but Nashville as well, as we've seen an uptick in crime there, is going to be, I think, paramount to those underlying economic issues. But again, whether you're in Obion or Dyer County, Shelby County, or Murray County, it's all about affordability, jobs, and of course, fuel prices.
Congressman Andy Ogles, our good friend, thanks so much for joining us today, and have fun out there on the campaign trail between now and Election Day next Thursday.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Back with Judson Phillips after this.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer. 250 years ago, following an extraordinary victory that shook the globe, these newly forged Americans walked off the battlefield to create something unique in the world. A government that values individual liberty and justice. A system of laws built on limiting power and holding the mighty to account. They were young, they were bold, and together they wrote a document that changed everything. That document still stands, and 250 years later, the question remains, can we keep it? This October in Brentwood, Tennessee, students in grades 8 through 12 have a chance to answer that question and compete for a $10,000 Grand Champion Education Scholarship. More than $17,000 in education scholarships will be awarded in all. The 2026 National Constitution Bee, Saturday, October 24th, Spring Hill Suites, Marriott, Brentwood, Tennessee. Register now at nationalconstitutionbee.org. That's nationalconstitutionbee.org.
Only one. There is only one conservative running for State House District 65, and that's Lee Reeves. Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought to protect the unborn and defend the sanctity of life. That's why Lee Reeves has the endorsement of Tennessee Right to Life. Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought to secure your Second Amendment rights, earning the endorsement and an A+ rating from the NRA. And Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought against illegal immigration, standing firm to secure our border and protect Tennessee families. Only one conservative has delivered for District 65, securing funding for Williamson County and the Mac Hatcher expansion. That's why Mayors Rogers Anderson and Ken Moore and State Senator Jack Johnson endorse Lee Reeves. There's only one conservative for State House, and that conservative is Lee Reeves. Paid for by Lee Reeves for State House, Bev Berger, Treasurer.
Hi, this is Williamson County State Senator Jack Johnson. I'd like to invite you to join me for my annual Boots and Jeans Barbecue and Beans. It's this Sunday, August 2nd at 4 o'clock, Liberty Hall at the Factory in Franklin. It's going to be a great night of barbecue, fellowship, and celebrating the conservative values that make Tennessee the best place to call home. I'm honored to be joined by an incredible lineup of conservative leaders, including Governor Bill Lee, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally, and Senator Brent Taylor. Whether you've attended before or this will be your first time, we'd love to have you join us. Bring your family, invite your friends, and come spend an afternoon with fellow conservatives from across Tennessee. Tickets are $50. Get yours today at johnsonfortennessee.com. That's johnsonfortennessee.com. I look forward to seeing you this Sunday at my annual Boots and Jeans Barbecue and Beans.
Paid for by Johnson for State Senate, Tommy Nelms, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Dr. Anthony Fauci is still squirming and shaky a little bit in the witness seat.
Good.
The number of times he's taken the Fifth Amendment, as of 9 minutes ago, according to journalist Tom Elliott, 121 times.
Can he break 200?
You know, I think we're moving in that direction.
Yeah. Quick. What's the Kalashi poll on that?
Yeah, I mean, I should have taken the over-under. I should take the over on 100 on Kalshi. The prediction market. It's getting up there, and it's kind of brutal to watch, and yet it's very much needed. Now,
I have less than zero sympathy for the guy, and I will tell you why. And this will kind of warm us up into what we're fixing to go into.
Man, are we going into something here?
But two reasons why Fauci's 85 years old. He's already lived longer than the average American.
Yeah.
I hope he lives longer, and by the time he finally passes on, I hope he is destitute. And I'll tell you why. Two reasons. Number one, like a lot of other Americans, his idiotic edicts, which were not based in science or anything else, nearly destroyed my business. I had customers whose businesses were destroyed, and when they could no longer function, it hurt me.
Well, there's so many restaurants that were destroyed.
Yeah, and
childcare,
other all kinds
schools,
of businesses. Yeah,
destroyed by these stupid edicts.
But the other thing, and this is the one thing I will never forget. October 2021, I had a heart attack, a nearly fatal heart attack.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, it's a nearly fatal heart attack.
Have you told anybody this before publicly?
I've told friends about it. But anyway, I started feeling the symptoms, and I went to the Vanderbilt walk-in clinic because that was just the nearest medical facility. Right. And I thought, it's probably the best thing to do. I go in there and I tell them, I'm having a heart attack. And I mean, there was no doubt about it. I had the symptoms, pressure on the chest, couldn't breathe, radiating pain, the whole 9 yards. So I'm sitting there in their lobby telling them I'm having a heart attack. You know what their first concern was? Making sure I had a mask on.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I would think breathing while you have a heart attack is kind of an issue, right?
Yeah. And I told them about that.
Did you survive it?
Yes. I'll tell you. I'll finish the story real quick. We'll go into the segment.
Yeah.
I kept having symptoms. I went to the hospital, was released, kept having symptoms. My doctor wanted to perform I can't remember the name of the technique.
A certain procedure.
Yeah, but anyway, put dye in the arteries. And the insurance company would not allow it. The McDonald's reject claims adjuster was overruling a Vanderbilt cardiologist and professor of cardiology. And so anyway, they finally got it done. I had two blockages. One was, I think, 95%. The other was 90%. His first words to me in recovery, my cardiologist's first words to me in recovery, you're very lucky to be alive.
Well, we're glad you're alive.
I'm kind of happy about that, too.
Exactly.
Because otherwise, I wouldn't get to hear this great clip from Bernie Moreno.
I think I certainly have never heard a particular word which we're bleeping out.
Yes, that we have to.
We have to bleep it out. I don't think I've ever heard a United States senator in a congressional hearing use this word. Have you?
No. I mean, when we previewed the clip, I just had a what the heck moment.
I thought, is it AI? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's in the record.
Yeah. And
so think of the worst word you can.
Well, I can think of a few bad ones, but I already know what it is.
This is the worst word. The ones that you cannot.
We cannot say on the radio.
Under any circumstances can you say this on the radio. However, this was live. I don't think they have a 7-second delay on Fox News. I don't think that they have they clearly don't have any delays on C-SPAN.
Yeah.
I think that's where this clip came from. But our elite team has been able to remove the offending word.
Make the clip PG.
But you'll know what the word is, and you'll have the same reaction we did. It came from Senator Bernie Moreno, Republican from Ohio, we're going to play the entire clip, and then, Judson, we'll get your reaction to it. This happened just about half an hour ago.
Yeah.
So this is breaking news. Here is Senator Bernie Moreno's question to Dr. Anthony Fauci in a Senate hearing today.
It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the f do you think you were for doing that? It is a total disgrace what you did to this country. And if my Democrat colleagues are standing there defending you, I hope the voters of the United States of America watch the clips of every one of you doting on a guy who was more interested in being a celebrity than saving American people. I will make it my mission to make certain that every single one of those Democrats who did that will see that clip over and over and over again. Because there is no defense of what you did. You may have had a 50-plus year legacy of public service, but it ends in total and complete disgrace.
Well, don't pull any punches there, Senator Bernie Moreno. What's your reaction to that statement? And I think it was followed up with some level of question, to which Anthony Fauci took one of his 121 and growing Fifth Amendment claims.
Yeah, well, he's absolutely right. I think he reflects a lot of the outrage of Americans. And honestly, if we had an honest media that would tell us what actually happened, as opposed to just trying to cover for Fauci and the Democrats, I think Fauci would have to be under 24/7 protection, probably in the witness relocation program or something similar, because he couldn't be able to go out. It's worth remembering, in 2020, some of the initial research they were looking at showed that two drugs, ivermectin and hydrochlorozine, were very effective. They were repurposed drugs. What did Fauci want to do? He didn't want those drugs used. He wanted his designer drug, Resvimidar, to be used. And I know I'm mangling the name of it, but that's why I'm not a doctor. But it's also worth remembering, and people died because of this. It's also worth remembering in the 80s, when AIDS was blowing up all over the place, they discovered a repurposed drug that would help AIDS patients. And Fauci put the kibosh on that so that his preferred designer drug, AZT was the name of it, that would go out. So he's kind of repeated himself, but he's got the blood of millions on his hands. Remember when people, because of his alleged science, which we know from his diaries, it was all made up. Do you remember when people couldn't go to see their loved ones who were dying?
Mm-hmm.
And there are photos of nurses pressing notes against a window saying, I'm sorry, they're gone. And that's how you found out that your mother or your father passed away. You couldn't be with them for the last little while of their lives because Fauci wanted to be a media celebrity. He wanted to essentially dictate for the country. One of the most incredible things out of the whole diary thing is one of the passages that just really sticks out is he wrote an entry into his diary bragging about how he had released some information, and because of that, he made the Dow Jones crash 3,000 points.
He's proud of that. By the way, NBC News is reporting this in an entirely biased way. In his opening statement, the former top health official accused Senator Rand Paul of having an unhinged obsession with him and wanting to put him behind bars. Fauci decries Rand Paul for slanderous comments. That's the lead at NBC. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, and this is why I don't even refer to things like NBC as news anymore. I refer to them as propaganda.
It's still a propaganda. We'll have more when we come back with the great Judson Phillips. We'll talk about some of the things going on electorally here. Back with Judson Phillips after this.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on two huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll.
Learning is tough enough, but big tech engineered distractions that make it even harder for kids to focus.
Conservative Marsha Blackburn. When no one else would, she took on big tech to protect our kids from dangerous content. Now she's fighting to take back our classrooms.
My plan? Bell to bell, no sale.
As our next governor, Marsha Blackburn will eliminate cell phones in the classroom to help move Tennessee students from distractions to success. She'll take away the bureaucratic barriers holding back our schools and give teachers and students the help they need to make Tennessee education the envy of the country. Conservative Marsha Blackburn. Trump trusted Tennessee first.
No more posting, no scrolling. Here in Tennessee schools, we're going to learn.
Standing up for our kids, fighting for Tennessee. Marsha Blackburn for governor. Paid for and authorized by Marsha for Governor, Treasurer Glenn Jacobs.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now. The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day. People are out there saying, oh, the Iranians are never going to live by it. But let me tell you something. President Trump is going to bomb them again if they screw around.
Hopefully they live up to it. And if not, the pounding's coming. We're going to do it again and again and again.
The Cats and Cosby Show, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Trump is the toughest president we ever had.
Well, he's definitely the best bomber.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of 3 who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girls' sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Our guest in studio, Judson Phillips. Judson, it's hard to look away from the car wreck. That is the Anthony Fauci testimony, taking the Fifth Amendment at least 121 times. I think he's going to get up to 200 before the day is over. Steve Bannon,
put your bet.
Yeah, Steve Bannon has this to say. Why is it that when Fauci walks out of there today, he's not cuffed? This is why there's a lack of urgency and intensity in the base. People are furious watching Fauci hide behind the Fifth Amendment. He should die in prison. That's what Bannon says.
Oh, I agree with Bannon. In fact, I think Bannon's position is the moderate position.
A programming note on On August 17th, the Michael Patrick Leahy Show will move from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time to 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be 2 p.m. To 4 p.m. Central Time. And in our stead, we will have Wendy Bell Live. She'll be 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time and 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central Time. We'll still be here, and we will be hitting all of the issues of the day. Interestingly enough, this coincides with the acquisition of the John Fredericks Radio Network by 950 AM WAKM here in Franklin, Tennessee. And in the Tennessee market, the John Fredericks Radio Network is taking the Tennessee Titans and the Tennessee Volunteers. And guess what? After me, in the afternoon, Mike Keith, at the end of August, will have a 1-hour program. The great voice of the Volunteers. How about that?
Great voice of the Vols. Go Big Orange.
Well, again, the car wreck is the Anthony Fauci car wreck, and he's just getting obliterated. But there's other stuff going on. There's some elections. You want to talk a little bit about what's going on in New York? Bruce Blakeman challenging Kathy Hochul here in Tennessee. Election day is a week from tomorrow.
New York is interesting because some polling has been released that shows Blakeman only 4 points behind Hochul, 47 to 43, which is very interesting. And I think it shows a lot of outrage and anger building up for a number of things that are happening, namely stuff out of New York City with Mondami. But interestingly, you have 10% of the electorate undecided. And for Hochul, for any incumbent who's running, when you're under a 50%, particularly if you're only running against one opponent or one major opponent, that is a huge red flag. But when you have that number of undecided, that's an even bigger red flag, because one of the truisms of politics is the undecideds never break for the incumbent. If they like the incumbent, they wouldn't be undecided. So it's basically up to the challenger to kind of close the sale right now, but that's going to be fairly easy because let's face it, Hochul is not a very likable person.
You mean the bucktooth Botox bandit from Buffalo?
Exactly, that's her. So yeah, she's not likable. So that's interesting. I consider it, in the greater scheme of things, probably unlikely that a Republican would take that, because we also have to assume there's an honest election commission in New York, which, as lawyers will say, that's assuming facts not in evidence. It's sort of like California, where we saw what happened with Spencer Pratt. They had that three-way race, and only two were going to advance, and Rahman suddenly surged. Spencer Pratt was going to be number 2 on election day. Suddenly she surges into number 2. They call the election. He's out, and now she's not doing anything. But Steve Hilton is running in California for governor against Xavier Becerra. And what's interesting, he's got the same media team. The people who work for Spencer Pratt are now working for him. He's released his first commercial, which is pretty good. And he's got a good theme on it, attacking the California machine. And it's. I mean, you can tell it's the same people that did Pratt's commercial, because you've got. Not only is it AI. AI is not the end-all, be-all of political campaign commercials. Although, if you talk to some candidates, we just put an AI commercial out and we'll win. No, what wins it is the level of mockery that is involved. Because a commercial, like take North Carolina, for example. The Republican National Committee is throwing a bunch of money into Michael Whatley's race against Roy Cooper for the Senate. This is a race that Whatley should be winning. He's down by 11 points, and Cooper's at 50%, which is not a good sign. This is a race he should be winning in that deep red state, but he's not running any type of effective ads or really doing anything to motivate voters.
It's motivation, as Bannon talked about.
Yeah, and Hilton's commercial is the kind of commercial that will motivate not only Republicans, but independents.
And on that note, Judson Phillips, on the day the Anthony Fauci train wreck with the Fifth Amendment goes to Washington,
Are we up to 150 yet?
Oh, we'll probably pass 200. Justin, thanks for joining us. Up next, Rob Carson. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for joining us. The website, TennesseeStar.com. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.